Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, where now you can use code DNVR at sign up and get some super special offers like how a $5 bet can win you $150 in free bets instantly with those play-in NBA games. You clinch no matter what with DraftKings Sportsbook and code DNVR. I am one of your hosts, Patrick Lyons, along with Suzie Hunter. And the Colorado Rockies have a 3-game winning streak and win a very exciting game, 6-4, to ruin the Rangers' home opener.
Oh my gosh. I don't even think that they had a sellout for their home opener. So that's the other thing we have to remember. I guess they didn't want it enough.
35,000 in the house at Globe Life for a game that was almost a tale of 3 different games. We had the first 6 innings. They kind of strolled along and a lot of runners left on base. We'll get to all that. Then you had the final 3 innings where the Rockies were chipping away a little bit at a time. They take the lead in the 9th. Daniel Bard coughs it up with the pinch hit home run by Willie Calhoun, who, if you know your history, is a former Dodgers prospect. So that's the wrong guy. That stings maybe a little bit more than that. And then you got the 10th inning. So there were 3 different games going on in it. They tied the first 2. But the most important thing, they won in extra innings.
Our first extra inning games of the season. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, right off the top. I mean, there were multiple people that are probably in line for the DraftKings Sportsbook King of the Game. A lot of players went out, had a really good game. Jose Iglesias had the first 3-hit game for the Rockies and then went out and got another hit, had a 4-hit game, 4 for 5 with an RBI. Did have a run scored, did a nice job defensively in a couple spots. He had a very good game. Chris Bryant had 2 hits. It's really between Connor Joe and CJ Cron. What's your inkling on that? Who do you think it was more integral in this game? We've made a decision, so we'll see if our decision matches. What do you think and what I think?
Yeah, no, we always play this game and we've been matching so far. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like up until the 10th inning, I would have gone with CJ Cron, but Connor Joe, I mean, he put us over the top, and yeah, that's what I'm going to go with Connor Joe. The more we love him, the more he gives us, and I love that.
Man, it gives us that excellent insurance run, which because of the final play that got overturned, didn't end up needing it, but it still was incredibly important. He's kind of the co-player of the game. We're going to stick with CJ Cron as our DraftKings Sportsbook King of the Game. Goes 2 for 5, hits the first triple for the Rockies this year. The last guy you would think that would do it. And then his home run there in the 9th inning that tied it up in that first at-bat there in the top of the 9th, got them to the extras. And also, don't forget, late in that game, there was a really big defensive play. I actually thought it was probably the defensive play of the game. It was a 3-5-3. Cron got down on a ground ball hit by Corey Seager, fired it to second where Ryan McMahon was. There's a wonderful flashback, right? He's playing third base, but goes over, fires it back to Cron. So did a good job defensively. And so I'm going to lean towards him, but you could go just about any way. I mean, it was a solid team performance by just about everyone.
It really was. Yeah, it was fun to see for sure. And also just nice to see the Rockies winning on the road, especially after everything we saw last season where they could not win on the road. They won 26 games on the road the entire season. That was not fun.
And the Rockies have typically not played well on the road. We know about the Coors Field hangover, but even for Rockies, that was like one of the worst, winning percentages I think they've had, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was, it was terrible for Rockies standards on the road.
Yeah, 4th lowest road winning percentage in franchise history. They lost the first 7 games on the road in 2021, but here they win the first game, ruined the Rangers home opener. A lot of people were kind of reaching out on Twitter at DNVR_Rockies about, hey, why are there so many afternoon Monday games? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And you're right. It wouldn't normally be that case, but because the first week of the season, the first week of April, the games were canceled. So that meant all of those teams that should have had a normal opening day around April 1st, they didn't get to have one at all. So they had to shoehorn one in. And so now this, interleague game between the Rockies and Rangers now becomes Texas's home opener. Had the dome open, looked nice, looked pretty good there.
The Rockies haven't played at Globe Life with the dome open yet, so this is fun. This was a new adventure.
Yeah. Outside of the Dodgers, who played there a lot during 2020, I haven't thought about that season very much, but you remember the postseason was all at Globe Life Field there? Like, that was an interesting time, huh?
It's so funny that you said, "Oh, I don't like to think about the 2020 season." It's like, yeah, I actively avoid thinking about that entire year of all of our lives. So, like, I get it.
It was very strange, to say the least. The game started out a little bit frustrating, I feel like, because Rockies had a lot of opportunities. I mean, all throughout the game, they left runners on base. But in the first, Connor Joe leads off with a single, does his thing. And this is notable, too. I think what we're going to begin to see is a mixing and matching in the lineup. When there's a lefty on the hill, Connor Joe is going to be batting leadoff. And when there's a right-hander on the hill, like we saw the first 2 games of the season against the Dodgers, you're probably going to see Charlie Blackmon in there. Connor Joe still might be in the lineup, but he might slide down, and maybe he starts to hit a little bit better against right-handers. But Buddy riding the hot hand against the lefty, Taylor Hearn, and starts off with the single. Bryant hits the double. Joe gets thrown out at home plate. You had a double, or actually that was the triple for CJ Cron, a walk by Rogers, hit by pitch by Ryan McMahon. You leave the bases loaded. And that's really your only opportunity until we get to the 7th. A lot of traffic on the bases, particularly Ryan McMahon, who had a rough day, didn't he?
Yeah, Ryan McMahon kept getting hit. He got hit in batting practice by a ball. He got hit by 2 pitches during this game. Can we stop hitting Ryan McMahon? He is precious cargo. We like him. Can we not do this?
He is. I didn't actually hear how he got hit during batting practice. Was it from like the BP pitcher hit him with a pitch, or was he like playing defense and someone hit a ball, just kind of wasn't paying attention? I don't know if we have those details exactly.
I don't know if we do either, but he was hitting the calf, I believe, but he was okay. I was getting a little concerned, but I'm glad he's okay. He was a punching bag today, though.
Yeah, can't beat up our guy. Kojo, he got hit on Sunday in the hand, was a little bit tight, I think, in general, but was still able to kind of get the blood flowing through there. He gets the start. Everyone in the lineup pretty much dropped down. Brendan Rodgers was batting 5th. I think he's 1 for 11 in that Dodger series, but he's another guy that I think had really good at-bats all day long. Walked in the first at-bat, singled, then reached on an error that I thought was a hit originally. So he had himself a good game, a nice little rebound, and everyone pretty much did their thing up and down the Rockies lineup. And the bullpen was good, again, up until that Daniel Bard home run to Willie Calhoun. Again, a full team effort for a club that, I don't know, you look at the Rangers roster and they're not very good. Yes, they paid $500 million for Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, but they're not great. The Rockies should be winning these games, and so I'm glad they did, right?
Yeah, I know. I was slightly concerned because I'm like, oh, the Rangers, they've added talent. Who knows what's going to happen? So I'm glad we came out on top of this one.
Yeah, you had Charlie Culberson in the lineup. Again, great guy, great glue piece. One of those guys. Cole Calhoun, he's at the tail end of his career. He's in the starting lineup, and so a couple questionable players. And Taylor Hearn is a nice little story too. Had a lot of swing and miss too. Did strike out 6. Not a career high for him, but I think you saw a little bit of the Coors effect impacting bats. Taylor Hearn, he filled up the strike zone. He threw 76 pitches, 54 strikes. So the pitches were there for Rockies to hit. They were just swinging over the ball a lot. So still, first day away from Coors Field like this can be rough, but they end up scoring those 6 runs over the 10 innings, and they get the win. And at the end of the day, that's really the only thing that matters, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this really was a quick turnaround for them.
Yeah, and we did get to see Alex Colome pitch because, as we know, there was not a plane to catch. They're going to be in Texas.
Speaking of not quick, things that are not quick, Alex Colome pitching.
We need a new nickname for him. So on Baseball Reference, his nickname is The Horse. And I thought, well, all right, how do we, slow that slow that down. What's a slow horse? And something with like a donkey. And I'm like, no, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, what if a horse was, what's the heaviest metal? The iron's pretty heavy. Can't be the iron horse. That's Lou Gehrig. So that's kind of taken.
Yeah. Pewter's pretty heavy. I don't know enough about metal. Like, what? I didn't go to school for chemistry. I went to school to learn how to talk.
The pewter horse, or we got to find out like what metal takes a long time to dry or to solidify. We're gonna workshop that out there. Again, hit us up on social media at DNVR_Rockies.
If anyone knows about metal, just like please give us some advice. We need it apparently.
We don't have any in-house metalsmiths at DNVR in any capacity, unfortunately. You know,
we're opening a new branch, DNVR Metal.
We are. That's it. We're gonna do it.
Heard it here first.
Buddy did. We know he had his 1,000th win, of course, on Sunday. You know, big news. I think we'll give credit to Nick Groke. Put a question out there to Jason Stark, who loves, you know, obscure pieces of information that I think Buddy might be the only of the 66 managers with 1,000 career wins to also have 100 career wins as a pitcher. He might be the only one.
That's I like that. Pretty freaking cool.
I think that's a great stat. You know, Buddy is behind, of course, Clint Hurdle, the all-time leader in wins for a manager, 534 wins. Don Baylor at 440. Heard Corey Sullivan on the pregame of AT&T Sportsnet put it out there, and he said, well, I forget what the number was. I think it was like 90, or if they win like 89 more games, and they win roughly 90 games to go to the postseason, Buddy will just pass Don Baylor for second place. So that's a storyline we're going to have to keep our eye on, besides just the Rockies going to the postseason and winning that many games. But Bud Black works his way up the leaderboard in all-time great Rockies managers.
Add that to our dream storylines list. We should get what's it called? A vision board.
Yeah. Power rankings.
Get a vision board.
Well, I know last year, the season, if you remember, started off really funky with the Coors Cat running out on the field on Saturday. You had the outside of the park single. Cody Bellinger hits the ball over the fence, but runs past Justin Turner. So he gets only credit for a single, even the ball went over the fence and it was outside the park single. And so there were a lot of those really strange things. It was like, we'll have to like rank it like Stephen Colbert used to do when he was on Comedy Central, like the depth chart of different things. And so we'll have to do that with great stories, heartwarming things, because 4 games into the season, and I feel like there's 4 like huge stories already that have, you know, been piling up and that are making people really excited and really feeling connected with the Rockies so far in 2022.
Rockies, don't break our heart. We're loving this right now. Come on.
Yeah. And we're loving the vibes down at the DNVR bar, again, on the corner of Colfax in York, where members, if you're not already a member, you're missing out. Only 50 cents for that first month. You get discounts on Broncos tailgates when we bring those back. Of course, we've had a couple Nuggets party buses. We might be doing that for the Rockies as well. If you're down there, like if you listen to our opening day show from Friday night, it dropped Saturday morning, but we were doing a show in the middle of a raffle. Well, if you're a member, you get extra raffle tickets to win all kinds of, you know, wonderful goodies, access to our members only Discord, where you have exclusive abilities to talk with us, talk to Suzie, talk with me. You don't have to worry about politics or a-holes. Again, only 50 cents for your first month. And if you want an annual membership, you get a free shirt from dnvrlocker.com. And that includes one of our 2 new Rocky shirts.
And they're nice. And they're very soft.
You got to get a good cotton count. It's like linens, right? Linens and the cotton, the fabric, all of that. If you're going to be sleeping in it, if you're going to be wearing it down to the ballpark, it needs to be comfortable, it needs to be breathable. It's not going to be white. I've been told. I don't know if any of the other beats have announced this. Like, we will like never have a white shirt, which is not true. Actually, we do have one. It's not a team one. It's that immaculate vibes. It's like a little bit gray.
Oh yeah, I'm like trying to think. I'm like, what white shirt do we have?
Yeah. Someone fought hard for it because it's like, nope, white, sweat rings and all that. I was like, all right.
I only wear white shirts. I mean, like, I'll wear our shirts because I like them and they're cool as heck. But I'm like, I love a white tee.
You just invest in some OxyClean. You know, it's a free advertisement there. OxyClean will get out. I've got now 20-year-old sweat stains from my dad's old shirts that now I fit into when I was his age. and those things come out with OxyClean. And so maybe
No,
we'll get more white teas.
I just like totally off topic, but when I was in Chicago for a Cubs game, someone at a bar spilled a whole espresso martini on my white shorts, and I soaked it in some OxyClean, and it looks like it never ever happened.
There you go. Free plug
not
for
an
OxyClean.
ad. Hashtag not an ad.
No way. But this is one for Breckenridge Brewery's beer. I mean, they're the official beer of DNVR, and they're really the official seltzer as well. It's Good Company Hard Seltzer. You always want to be in good company, and you are with Good Company Hard Seltzer from Breckenridge Brewery. My favorite thing that they do with a portion of all their proceeds and profits go towards the National Parks Conservation Association, something that helps prevent forest fires, which they've been doing long before the Marshall Fire and long before we get into that time of year, which, right now we're enjoying the warm weather, but give us some more rain. It rained, I think, Saturday night. That was nice. A little dew on the ground. We need the moisture. Dump on the mountains. We're probably going to get one more big snowfall at some point this year. All that stuff is good to help with prevention of forest fires. And Breckenridge Brewery is doing that as well. So check out Good Company Hard Seltzer, King Soopers, Safeway, Costco, wherever you do that thing. All right. Other notes from the game. Austin Gomber looked good, not great. Goes into the fifth inning, 4 2/3 innings pitched, only gives up the 4 hits, 2 walks, strikes out 4, 2 runners on base, where Justin Lawrence ends up coming in the game. Those inherited runners do end up scoring. So, overall, his line doesn't look wonderful, but you got the job done, and sometimes you need to do that. Currently after one start, a 5.79 ERA, not that big of a deal. Again, Rockies are 3-1, and that was kind of in the middle of the best starts. Certainly wasn't what Marquez did, but it probably was better than Freeland and Senzatella in general, at least giving the Rockies a little bit more length.
Yeah, who would have expected it? We love to see it.
Yeah, that's fantastic to see. He did have 1 point, Gomber, retire 8 straight between the first and the fourth inning. Some other interesting notes from the game. I mean, the way the game ended, we haven't gotten into that exactly, and I only had half of an eye on it as we're getting ready to go with our live show. But runner on second base, and here's something too. We'll give a shout out to Danielle Allentuck from the Gazette. I'll have to pick her ear, and I teased her online about the runner on second base. What do you call it? The California tiebreaker is what it's called, right? California tiebreaker rule, international, baseball rule. You put the runner on second base. Do you have a fancy name that you call that, or a nickname for the runner on second base?
He's a ghost runner.
So that's the one that I cannot get behind. I don't get that one. I tweeted, I said, is Grandel Gritchick still alive? He can't be a ghost runner when there's no one there, but we're all acknowledging that there's going to be a presence of something. You could say there's a ghost runner on first base, kind of, maybe, but he's alive. You can now zombie runner. How about zombie runner?
No, because zombies are terrible runners. But
he is he's more of a zombie than a ghost.
He's a ghost because he just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You almost got behind it right there. You almost did.
I guess. I mean, ghosts do appear out of nowhere, but I don't know. It's either that or the Manfred Man is another one. That one's definitely not going to catch on. But ghost runner, I'm gonna have to rally hard against that one. It doesn't make sense. I think people now know what that means. Like when you say ghost runner, people are gonna go, yeah, the guy on second base, but they're alive. Okay, these are live human beings we're talking about. Ghosts.
Oh my gosh, I think you're just overthinking it. I cannot get behind you not getting behind the term ghost runner.
But in that 10th inning, the ghost runner was Marcus Semien on second base. Mitch Garver walks, and then Adolis Garcia singles, and the runner essentially comes around to score. Not a big deal because the Rockies had a 6-4 lead at that point. As we said, Connor Joe, the DraftKings Sportsbook king of the game, tied the game up in the 9th. Willie Calhoun retied it back up, or rather, Cron gave them the 4-3 lead. Willie Calhoun tied it back up 4-4 in the 9th with 2 outs. Daniel Bard almost did it again with incredible ease. But you get Grichuk to score from second base on the Iglesias single, who went 4 for 5, and then Connor Joe gives you that insurance run. The big home run, I think it was something like 358 to left field, just stayed fair for the home run. Rockies are up 6-4. So that ghost runner, you have to be watching live on YouTube to see my quotes. He scores from second base, right? Semien scores, except for the fact that when Mitch Garver slides into second base and takes out second baseman Brendan Rodgers, the umpires decided to review it, or rather, I think the Rockies said, hey, can you review this play? It was a bit of a dangerous slide. And so they review it and they say, you know what? Actually, because of the slide from Garver into second base, we're going to rule the runner out at first base. So that's a double play. That's 3 outs. Game over. So a game ends. I don't know if there was a game. There in Detroit. I don't know if it was opening day. It might have been Friday night. It ended on an overturned play where they ruled something as a base hit. I think it was Javi Baez. They end up ruling it. Oh no, it was an out. The outfielder caught it off the wall. It was a weird play. But this is now the second instance, and the first for the Rockies. An overturned call. You heard the umpire get mic'd up, and the Rockies win on a strange one. But I think they were the better team today, so you can rest easy with that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lose sleep over this one. But yeah, of course, so Rockies to just like win in an unconventional way. Just a little weird about it.
Yeah, it was. It looked really beautiful down there in Arlington. I'll say that. As you mentioned, first time they play in there with the dome open. And as we're going to do this season long, we'll get an official graphic at some point. But we're going to go sightseeing with Suzie because you were there in Arlington. Hopefully you got to see a little bit of the city. We'll talk about that here in a second. You definitely saw the ballpark. Mm-hmm. What's the vibe like down there? I can't say that, hey, let people know where to go and what to do, because I don't think anyone's jumping on a plane tonight to go there for one game on Tuesday afternoon. But at least for future references, and certainly when we play inside the NL West, we'll get an idea. You can plan a trip for next year. What's the vibe like down there in Arlington at Globe Life Field, in Dallas in general for you when you visited last year?
Yeah, so actually Globe Life is one of my favorite ballparks that I visited. It's actually in my top 5. It looks like a big, weird, ugly shed on the outside, but inside it kind of looks like a little course field. And it's even really nice and bright and beautiful in there when the dome is covered, because they do have great windows on top. So like there's a lot of natural light. It doesn't feel weird. You don't feel like you're inside. But you get that protection from that Texas heat. And then right outside of the ballpark, there are bars with like huge TVs. It's just like a big party. So the environment down there is actually a lot of fun.
Are those bars like kind of part of the stadium? Because I feel like between Globe Life Field and the previous Globe Life Park, which is still there, they still use it for some things. Probably a rodeo. I don't know.
Yeah. So it is still there. It's still across the street. And yeah, I think the bars there might be a McGregor Square type of situation where they are associated.
Still, you need that. You need that.
It's exactly. A quick walk though, right after the game. You're not going too far. And you can grab a bite, grab some drinks after the game, not have to do the whole parking lot traffic thing. I had a lot of fun in Texas. I liked their stadium a lot.
We're getting a shout out from our inside source here.
Oh.
The FC Dallas. I almost said the FC Dallas, formerly Dallas Burn. They play their games there. I imagine they tarp off the upper deck when I would go to games at the old Giant Stadium to watch the Red Bulls play. They did not tarp off the upper deck, so it just looked really empty. But I'm sure you get some good vibes in there. And I think isn't AT&T Stadium also like kind of in the same general area?
Yeah. It's very close, right next door. You could walk to it.
Yeah. All right. Here now we're getting more. No, FC Dallas doesn't play there. They've got a ballpark. They've got a field in Frisco. I'm just remembering now, Frisco.
Okay.
And so yeah, I think that's like their MLS2 team that they have. But it's good that they're still getting some use out of it. I think like same thing with like Turner Field. Since Atlanta's got their new ballpark, I think it might be Georgia Tech actually has that old stadium. So I think that's probably going to be surprising for some people that you like a domed stadium or a retractable roof stadium as one of your favorites, except I'm kind of with you. I feel that way about Miller Park a little bit, which is similar to Chase, but I don't know, something about Chase Field I do not dig, but Miller Park I'm down with.
Okay, so I am neutral on Miller Park, American Family Field, I guess. But
Very good. Yes, thank you for the correction.
the issue I had, so when I went there, it was so stuffy. So one of the days I was there, the dome was closed. It was just so stuffy inside everywhere. Like the stuffiest I'd been out of any of the enclosed stadiums at that point. So it's just like, I didn't love it, and I didn't love when the dome was closed at Chase either, but they ended up opening it right before the game started, the game that I went to. So that was nice. It was kind of, I went to like an end of September game, and it was pretty late in the season. But yeah, the reason I liked Globe Life was because you didn't feel like you were inside, because there is so much natural light in there.
That definitely can help. That definitely can help. People are very excited right now. They're asking, hey, when's the World Series? And Stoney, yeah, we are going to enjoy first place here, while we can. Rockies going 3-1, tied with the Padres. I think Padres do play today. Yeah, they play San Francisco. They're also 2-1. So, in actuality, the Rockies will not have first place. I'm not going to get into the math of it. If the Giants win, they're 3-1 and tied. If the Padres win, they're technically a half a game ahead. So, shoot, Rockies are going to have to go out and have
stop the count now. Just
sweep.
Stop the count.
Well, yeah, that means something different, but you know what? We're taking that phrase back, so I like that.
We're gonna reclaim it. We're gonna reclaim it. I've seen a couple people tweet it, so I'm like, I think it's fine. We can do it.
That's cool. And I know I think, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there something about one of the public address announcers at Globe Life that's kind of unique, or that's like a special story down there?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Even though he called Connor Joe Connor today, we'll let that slide.
How did you hear? How did you? You could just hear it like in the background.
They were talking about it on the radio, and I saw some tweets about it too. But yeah, he was announced as Joe Connor. So quite unfortunate. But yeah, the broadcaster for the Rangers has just been doing this for a long time, and he's absolutely beloved. So his name is Chuck Morgan. So when they built the new stadium, I've never seen anything like this, but his the PA announcer booth is on the concourse. There's a big glass window, so you can like watch him do his thing. You can wave to him. He'll come out and talk. But they built him his own booth, and it's huge too. He has his own private bathroom. So he's beloved there. And when they built that new stadium, they made sure that they really celebrated him.
Oh, that's cool. I like that story. And yeah, Joe Connor is, I don't know who that guy, like, he's not very good at baseball, and if he is, he's not exciting. Connor Joe, it's amazing how you can just like flip those around, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is interesting. Like if you said Gomber Austin, you'd be like, that is some hillbilly name. You know what I mean? That's a relief pitcher. He's probably getting the ball in the 7th inning. Bigger body, but you're like Gomber Austin. You're like, he's good though. I mean, I wouldn't mind him on my team. But
there's a lot in a name, there really is.
Yeah, Rogers Brendan. You're like, all right, probably named after Rogers Hornsby, the Hall of Fame second baseman for St. Louis. You can flip those things around. Totally ends up changing the meaning. Joe Connor, that's a strange one. But what is not strange is getting a good night's rest. And I can attest to this because this is a product my parents use, and they did this before we started linking up with Lightshade and with Wana Optimal's Fast Asleep gummies. It's something that you can take right before bed. Get your eyelids feeling heavy. It's got 10 milligrams of CBD, a tiny bit of THC. Again, you already want to go to bed, and this is a way to kind of help you into that slumber a little bit more restfully. It's not a powerful drug that's going to leave you in the fog. You don't want anything like that. You want Wana Optimal's Fast Asleep gummies, and you can get it at lightshade.com or any of their 11 Denver metro area locations. When you use code DNVR, you're going to get 25% off that order of Wana Optimal's Fast Asleep gummies. I think you're also going to get 25% off all non-sale items as well when you use code DNVR when you shop at lightshade.com for pickup. It's a little tip. I know Suzie and I are a little bit behind on our rest, so we will we're gonna have to support our sponsors, I think, in a major way. Now, some other interesting news and notes that have come out. I mean, we're on a high here from Monday's big 6-4 victory in 10 innings, first extra inning game, first road victory for the Colorado Rockies. But it should be noted that the opening series against the Dodgers was actually only the 6th time in franchise history of a series of any kind that Colorado pitching allowed 8 runs or fewer. Actually, I should say it wasn't in any series. It was the first 3 games of the season. So that's impressive. That's a great way to start for a pitching staff who, again, had a shortened spring training. All teams, I think, are going through this. I saw some comments online about, Gomber didn't really last that long. This was almost his like second to last spring training start. That's what it would have been. So guys are playing games. They're playing, these games count, but they're not ready like they would normally be to go out and throw 90, 95 pitches. They're all of them. Their pitch count is right around 80. So really it's not about how long you go innings wise. It's how long you go pitches wise. In baseball, that's what's weird about baseball is we consider time in a lot of different formats. We don't actually use clocks, right? It's innings, it's pitches, all of those things.
Unless we add a pitch clock in, and now it's good. That would add just a new layer of chaos.
It's so weird about with the pitch clock because that's obviously is going to make the game a little bit more rapid. It's going to speed it up, and that isn't necessarily good on the gambling side. So that will be interesting to see how MLB kind of combats that. There's still plenty of time to get your bets in, and so maybe at the end of the day, it ends up being more of a benefit than anything else. So I'm all for it. As you mentioned in our post-game show on Sunday, which dropped as a podcast on Monday. Bud Black, he's in favor of the pitch clock, and he's a pitcher himself. He's a former guy, and he understands, you know what, that's okay. You can get through that. You can do that. Rockies 3-2 win on Saturday marked the 7th time in franchise history that the team had scored 3 or fewer runs in a win over the Dodgers in Denver. First time since 2018. Look at all these 2018 connections that are coming up. That's the last time they made the postseason.
Let's hope it's a sign of things to come, right?
Let's hope it is a sign to come. Tuesday, we'll preview because a lot of you may be listening to this on Tuesday morning. It's a 6:05 start. Kind of strange how it's going to be flip-flopping like that, but you'll be able to go to work, come and watch Mr. Chad Khul. What do you know about Chad Khul?
He's got the coolest name in baseball. But yeah, he'll be making his first Rockies start after signing that 1-year deal. Right. And yeah, excited to see him for the first time.
Yeah, I think he started on opening day last year actually with Pittsburgh. So again, it's not a franchise you look to and say, man, let's gobble up all their best players. They do have very good players worth gobbling up, but Chad Khul is not one of the best guys. I think he only signed for a $3 million deal. Missed some time in 2018 and in 2019 after having Tommy John surgery. Now, I know you follow, not stalk, follow, because you're professional now. So it is follow.
Yes.
Social media accounts by people. What do you know about Chad Khul? And I believe it's his wife. I think they're married. Do you know anything about his wife?
Actually, I know his wife was a former Miss Delaware because she competed in Miss Delaware the same year that my good friend Alyssa Taglia was Miss Connecticut. So I think my friend Alyssa went to their wedding too. So I do know that his wife has some accomplishments of her own for sure.
Yeah. Khul is he's a blue hen, man. He's one of only 57 players in the history of, or since 1900, I should say, which is pretty much the history of baseball, to come out of the state of Delaware. So that's rare, and married to Miss Delaware, which is really cool. And, he's a nice guy, charitable, just like, I'm sure Miss America and all that stuff, they can get a bad rap at times, but they do a lot of charitable things. They're good people. They want to give back. And so I think Chad Khul's doing something like that too this year, isn't he?
You know what? He's actually, for every strikeout in 2022, he's going to donate $10 to Players for the Planet. And that's dedicated to creating positive changes for our environment, which is great because if we don't do these things, we're not going to have a planet and we're going to have nowhere to play baseball.
Yes. No planet also equals no environment. So take care of the environment. You take care of the planet. It's this trickle down thing, Chad Khul clearly gets it.
Chad Khul is a cool guy. Let's go.
He is. I was recounting a story to someone that I won't name names exactly. But again, if you're at the corner of Colfax, New York, and you see me at the DNVR bar, I will tell you who this person is. But there was a moment where Chad Khul's name first came up in and around Rockies camp. We weren't able to divulge this information just yet. It was still very much top secret. And someone that I respect very much had never heard of the name Chad Khul and was just like, I thought someone was like making a joke. And if you think about it, and we know Chad Khul, most of you may know his spelling is Kuhl. But if you just think of the normal spelling of cool and you're like, Chad Khul, you're like, that's not a person.
That sounds like a character.
It's an 80s cartoon character. Yeah, like he's like, I don't know, a very hip teddy bear who wears his hat backwards. Probably looks like me. If I was like a cartoon character, that's like Poochie. It's Chad Khul. Yeah. But I was surprised that he hadn't heard of Chad Khul, but I also can understand why he was thrown. He heard Cool. Like, yeah, that is Chad Khul.
It's not a bit. He's a real dude.
It's a real dude. You got to see the spelling. It definitely makes a lot more sense. So to wrap up, any other tidbits from Monday's game? Bullpen was solid. Justin Lawrence there unfortunately gave up the inherited runners. Tyler Kinley did a nice job, scoreless inning. Carlos Estevez did his thing. Colome did his thing. So bullpen, coming through outside of that home run for Bard. We can actually count four games into the season. I don't think this has ever been a thing that's been possible for the last 30 years in Rockies baseball. We can not only can we do it on one hand, but we can just count in general. Two runs. That's how many runs the bullpen has given up all year. It's only 4 games, but we can actually keep track of that. 2 runs the bullpen has been credited with giving up. That's it. That's pretty damn good.
Let's keep it that way.
Absolutely. Let's do that. It's Monday. So you know what that means. I'm going to rustle my papers like it's a talk show.
I don't have papers. I feel so left out.
There you go. I'll ruffle it for both of us. It's Monday. And so this is something that, will certainly have to be reoccurring because we know a lot of people in our market are excited about it. Even if the Rockies are very good, you're excited about prospects. It's Monday. We like alliterations, things that have the same general sound. Mm-hmm. So we might as well celebrate Minor League Monday.
And, I love minor league baseball. And I mean, if we can talk about my yard goats, any opportunity, I will snag that. But it's just so much fun to look towards the future and see what we're going to have coming up in a couple of years.
Yeah, we'll do our best to just kind of touch on a little bit things. Hey, well, who's hot, who's not? We could have started with Hartford, but we'll start in order of affiliate from the top to the bottom. Albuquerque, they are home on Tuesday. So there could be someone who listens to this Tuesday morning. They're going to get up and maybe drive down to Albuquerque. It's doable.
It's like not very far, but yeah, it's funny that Albuquerque opened their season against the Dodgers AAA affiliate.
That's right. And I meant to look it up. Oh, Tacoma. That's it. They're there. Isotopes play Tacoma on Tuesday. So they got their home opener, and they are actually 17,000 plus fans away from eclipsing 10 million fans since they opened their ballpark, Isotopes Park, in 2003. Like, that's amazing. That wasn't all Rockies affiliation, wasn't all that, but still, we can give props to our neighbors from the South in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. They love their Isotopes baseball, and they support really, really well. So I love that.
They do. Yeah, it's definitely beloved in the community, and it's just such a cool place, such a cool city.
In spring training, because again, you came on right before first pitch, pretty much. It was either you or Russell Wilson, I think. To be honest, we did offer Russell Wilson the other spot here on DNVR Rockies. He said, no, I'd rather throw out first pitch. And so I'm sorry you didn't get to throw out the first pitch, but now you get to cover baseball. So it's still
exactly. You know what? This will give me joy all season long, hopefully.
So it's still a win, but I'm curious, who did you have a favorite prospect this spring, or, even if it was someone that we didn't get a chance to see all that much at Salt River Fields, but you're like, hey, Benny Montgomery, I think he only got in like 1 game, but you're like, I'm a big Benny Montgomery fan. Or were there's some other prospects that you were really high on that played well this spring?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was just so excited to see everyone. And it's so weird too, because like, since I traveled so much last year, I was like, oh, right. Like I like really missed out on like all of the Yard Goats prospects last year because I wasn't at Yard Goats games like I normally was. But Tovar, I'm very excited to see. He's in Double-A this year. And I'm sad that I'm missing him. But it seems like he's pretty happy in Hartford. Likes the Spanish speaking community up there too. So I think the happier he is, the better things we'll see. I like that.
Tovar was the guy, I think, for everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good pick. Montero, we're talking about Albuquerque. Got to throw him in there. Already has 2 home runs from that 6-game series. They play 6-game series in minor league baseball now, so the players don't have to travel as much. Monday is like a permanent off day, so the players can have some time to rest, relax, and actually enjoy some nice accommodations. I'm sure you've probably seen some of the homes that have been arranged by different teams, and so now players have a nice place to live at, which is good to see. But Montero for Albuquerque, 6 for 23, so 6 for 22, excuse me, so far here in the early going, a double, 2 homers, as I said, 3 RBI, 4 walks, only 5 Ks, not too bad. So he's off to that good start. We're definitely going to see him at some point at Coors Field, I think. Whether he's needed or not, whether you just need someone for a couple games before another player comes off the IL, I think he's going to just get that opportunity to get his first cup of coffee and dip his toe in that big league water.
Nice. I love it. Can't wait to see it.
And I know your Yard Goats, I think, they played pretty well against Binghamton, another Dunder Mifflin branch there.
Oh my gosh, you're such an I'm not the biggest office person in that I'm not an office person at all. But yeah, the Yard Goats, they had their opening night the same night the Rockies did. And they won a quick 3-game series against the Mets affiliate, the Rumble Ponies. Hilarious. But on Sunday night, we saw a tie-breaking 7th inning 2-run homer from outfielder Jimmy Herron. He came in as a pinch hitter. And then Riley Pint also made his Double-A debut, and that's a name that I'd been looking forward to for a long time, mostly because I just loved the opportunities to play on the pint, because we used to drink rally gallons in Hartford, and I would love to we could have had rally pints. I don't know, it just would have been awesome.
We'll have to get back to that, because I've got a thing for that, because Seth Beer hit the walk-off homer, and you can celebrate. But if you're the pitcher, I mean, pitcher, that's a beer thing,
right? Yeah, it's the opportunity.
You would have to like save the game, like it's not as glamorous, obviously. Like when you're the pitcher, you just, that's what you're supposed to do. You struck the guy out, whatever it is. But you're right. There's the people in Hartford are creative enough. They'll figure it out to celebrate Riley Pint's his season. Hopefully, has a good one. Whether he makes his debut with the Rockies or not is really it doesn't matter at this point, because the kid stepped away from the game, retired. Just wasn't working out for him. But to go back, play, contribute, be around his teammates and do that thing, that's great. You just wish for a happy life for Mr. Pint.
Yeah, for sure.
Final guy to talk about, Joe Rock. I got a chance to catch up with him down in spring training. So eventually you will see that on the DNVR.com. But he skipped low A. He skipped low A Fresno and was pitching for Spokane, 68th overall pick there in the 2021 draft. 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits, unearned run, struck out 6. Did really nice. And his battery mate, I think Drew Romo had a pretty good game as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So Drew Romo killing it. 4 hits in 5 at-bats. He scored twice. So now he has 6 hits over his first 2 games this season. Nice solid start.
You like that? You like that?
I like that.
So here's a question to pitch to you here in our little miscellaneous section here, that I thought was interesting, and it almost ties in with Riley Pint a little bit, because we know pitchers, they can't do that sexy thing with the walk-off home run. So Shohei Ohtani, we saw on opening day, they make a new rule for him. So no one's talking about the fact that they changed the rule literally for one guy. Right? Something that almost makes no sense. You're like, no, if the pitcher comes out, he can stay in to hit. Well, pitchers suck at hitting, so they literally change a rule for one guy. Guess what? I'm for it. Do it. The baseball should be doing these kind of things. Ban the shift. Fine. I'm okay with that. So Ohtani, besides the fact they changed the game for him, changed the rules, he did something no player's ever done. He threw the first pitch for his team, Los Angeles Angels, and he also took the first pitch because he's the leadoff hitter for the Angels. First player to ever do something like that. What else is out there to do that would be like an amazing story that nobody else could possibly do? And so I'm catching you all totally off guard here. But it's like, what else is there? I feel like that's like the total defining thing where like you're doing two different things on both sides. I don't think, I don't know. Again, reach out to us on Twitter at @DNVR_Rockies. I had a couple thoughts. I don't know if you've got one you can pop up immediately off the top of your head.
I mean, could he hit a home run and rob a home run?
Now, all right. So that's probably happened.
Yeah.
But yes. Okay. Now you're thinking, I hadn't thought of that one. Okay. Yeah. You hit a homer, you rob a homer. You're like, okay, that's both sides of the ball. It's the same kind of similar thing. I like that one. One of the things I wrote down, which is like crazy, and you're like, okay, this would never happen, but it could. It's not that crazy. What if hear me out. You're not an architect. You're just a college student, and you help build a stadium. Not literally, like you're there. You might be there for a month, but you're there doing something. My cousin, when he was in college, he helped build part of Coors Field. He just did like electrical work. So he didn't build it, but he did some, electrician work. So, okay, he did that. Well, what if my cousin, what's up, Eric? He also then played in that stadium, whether it was for the Rockies or somebody else. That's like a weird outside the box kind of thing. You help build a stadium and then you get to play in it.
That is, I feel like that would only happen in a work of fiction.
Maybe.
It sounds like you're putting together a great novel, a great baseball novel.
I guess I'm just trying to think. It's just a quirky thing, and so like
that would be really cool, though.
So and I'm thinking of both sides. You got the pitching, you got the hitting for Ohtani, and he's doing the first. He's throwing the first pitch, and so you go, all right. Well, what if you got the last out? So this is Riley Pint. What could Riley Pint do if he closes the game out and gets the final out? Is there something he could do at the end of the game? So we know what he did. He saved the game. What could he do at the beginning of the game? He could throw the first pitch out, I guess. Like, that's coincidental. It's still cool. It's still a cool story.
Yeah, he could sing the national anthem.
You can see, yeah, he could
be the little kid that says, "Play ball."
But also close out a professional game. Yeah, he could be that little kid. Have players like ever done the national anthem? I mean, I guess you could do that.
Are there players who have sung the national anthem?
Maybe not active, but
do we have any former players who've got some pipes on them? We have to.
That's like something the Savannah Bananas would do, and that's a whole other episode, right?
Yeah, that's actually
but in the minor leagues,
a whole other ball game.
The minor leagues is where something like that should happen, where if someone's a good singer, hey, also do the national anthem, and again, it's almost similar to like, hey, it's a bobblehead day, and then you go out and you do something big in that game. I remember once going, it was the Shane Victorino hula. It wasn't a bobblehead, but it was like a hula doll, and he hit a home run in that game. I think it might have even been the game winner. So that's kind of a cool thing. And here, I'll bring it back to the Rockies since I mentioned bobblehead or I mentioned giveaways. This was something that I noticed because, again, we only recently got the schedule back on MLB.com, and now we've got times, and hopefully you got your magnet schedule. You came to the ballpark and you got the magnet schedule.
Oh, I have mine.
Absolutely. But if you go to Rockies.com, you can see what some of the giveaways are. I think they're going to end up having more. There's a couple, the tote bags and stuff. But there will be 3 bobbleheads. We'll have to put this out in the next couple days. I'll ask you, Suzie, what bobblehead are you most excited about? In June,
you know what?
Herman Marquez. Oh, they are already? Have you seen them?
Well, what was that?
You got the scoop? I said, do you know what the bobbleheads are already?
I always know when the bobbleheads are coming. I love a bobblehead. I love a giveaway. But I'm sorry, continue. I interrupted you. I think I was breaking up a little bit too.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So we got in June, Herman Marquez has a bobblehead. It's like an all-star game bobblehead. At least, again, that's how they're selling it. So he'll probably have the uniform on. That's cool. I like that. A Ryan McMahon bobblehead in July, and then a Chris Bryant one in August. So 3 players that, to my recollection, have never had a bobblehead for the Rockies. Last year, they had a Charlie Blackmon one. They had the Larry Walker Hall of Fame one. But both those guys have had bobbleheads before. So 3 brand new ones. Is there one that you might be more excited than another to get? Marquez, McMahon, or Bryant?
Okay, so I love Marquez, but I didn't love those All-Star game uniforms last year. So I gotta go with McMahon, my former yard goat, my boy.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, that might not look toyetic, which some people might know. It's a made up word, but like things that when they're made into a toy, they just look amazing. Like even if you're an adult, you're like, I kind of want that.
Oh, like photogenic, but as a toy.
Toyetic, yes.
Okay, all right. I'm following.
Like I can remember being like 13 and I hadn't had action figures in like a year or two, but there was like some kind of Batman action figure that I happened to see that I'm like, I just want this thing. I want this toy. I want it. I wasn't even a huge Batman guy, but it was very toyetic. So we'll see. I don't know if the Marquez one will be as toyetic, if there'll be any themes for the McMahon or Bryant one. I think the theme is just they are really good Colorado Rockies players. So
the theme is we love them.
We do. I think McMahon might be the most excited that people will be for. I want to say Marquez maybe get more votes, but if we tell them it's the All-Star game one, that I think that could tip it a little bit. You're right. I think people might not be too happy with that.
Yeah, I didn't love those uniforms. They didn't scream Colorado to me, but of course, it was a last-minute location change, so you have to plan those things years in advance.
Everything else went perfect, and so it's like, yep, okay, that happens. Everything else really was perfect from that weekend. Did you like the Futures game uniforms? The National League ones were black. They had like a little bit of peach and purple in it, which that they might have been able to do like last minute. But they had like some Rockies flair to them. I don't think you can get those anywhere. Hit me up. My DMs are open.
Yeah.
At Patrick D. Lyons on Twitter or email me, patrick@thednvr.com. I want one of those Future game jerseys. I've never seen them sold anywhere. I don't think you can get them. They look great.
Patrick is pandering to you right now. Please, someone get him one of those jerseys. Hook it up.
Please. Hook it up. Or just drop the link and just say, here's where you get it.
Drop the link.
That's it. I'll pay for it. I'm very, very much okay with that.
Oh, okay. He'll pay for it. Good.
I am. And I'm very much okay with the Rockies right now. 3-1 atop the NL West, at least at the time that we record this. Looking good. Going for the sweep. It's a 2-game series, so it's a tiny broom. It's just like a tiny little sweeper that you have in the bathroom in the corner. To collect up all your fingernail clippings and all that. I didn't want to go there. I did. It's too late. I already said it was in the bathroom, so that's what's going on with that little sweeper.
You brought it to a weird place, but that's okay. It's not the weirdest place it could have gone.
I did. And make sure you got to go over to the YouTube channel on DNVR Sports so you can see me doing my hand gesture for sweeping toenail clippings. And I said it again, and I said it again. But no, this is a good time. This is exciting. And we get an off day on Wednesday, and then Cubs are in town. Phillies are in town, so make sure you get some tickets. I think the weather looks like it's going to be nice this weekend. Still got a few days to go until we get there. Cubs are not the same old Cubs. Rockies might not be the same old Rockies either. We'll see. It's still early, but you can feel excited. Don't let anyone tell you how to feel or how to fan. You can be excited right now. They're 3-1. They're looking good.
Yeah, it does feel good. And I will also, I'm remembering fondly, though, a Cubs-Rockies spring training game where I think it was like 17-1 Rockies.
Yes.
So fun. I mean, Cubs fans were not nice to me at Sloan, but I'm like, we're at baseball practice, right? Like this game doesn't count.
Baseball practice. I like that.
Yeah. I was just like, well, can you relax?
Well, what you could also do too is this would be a great way. We'll plant this seed now, and maybe we'll have to mention it all week long to Rockies fans. You can troll Cubs fans because if they show up with a Bryant jersey, now they might be a Bryant fan, so they may have switched. They may actually be a Rockies fan or a little bit of half and half. But if they've got the Cubs Bryant jersey on, be like, "Yeah, go Rockies!" Right? Just totally play it off. And they're like, no, I didn't get the new guys because the new guys aren't good. I'm supporting the Cubs. Yeah, but Brian, right? Rockies. Let's go. Pound that. Do some good trolling there. That's how you get to them.
I love to troll, so I'm going to do that for sure.
If they got a Javi Baez jersey, you're like, Tigers, right? Like, no, it was from, or if they're wearing Schwarber, you're like, Phillies. You're a big Philly fan? You ever been to a Wawa before? troll all of those guys. Anthony Rizzo. Whoa, Yankees fans? That's okay. You're welcome here. No, I'm a Cubs fan. It's just a Rizzo. Yankees though, right? Yankees though. Troll those Cubs fans. Their time is long overdue. They even won a World Series. Make them feel
we don't have to feel bad for them anymore. They got their World Series. We can go back to roasting them 24/7.
Roast them. Totally. This has been great. Again, the DNVR.com, where not only you're going to get a lot of exclusive content on the Rockies side from us, but you're also going to get Broncos, Nuggets, Avs, Rapids, Rams, Buffs, golf, rugby. We've got it all. We're doing that damn thing. And you get that member-sized beer as well when you're down on the corner of Colfax and York at the DNVR bar, all kinds of discount, extra raffle tickets at watch parties. I think we got some watch parties coming up this week as well. So check the schedule on that.
A lot of parties happening this week because there's a lot happening in the Denver sports world.
It is. It's a good time. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. Not saying it isn't going to last. I mean, they have to win the World Series. That's the only way it really lasts. But look, enjoy it. Again, the DNVR.com, 50 cents for your first month. We're on Twitter at DNVR_Rockies, at Patrick D. Lyons, and at the Suzie Hunter. Is it the or the?
It's the. Thank you.
I just didn't want to confuse people. They might throw in an extra E there. The Suzie
No,
Hunter.
it's not like Megan Thee Stallion, but it is. I do prefer that you pronounce it the instead of the.
Follow her on Twitter, Suzie the Hunter, and she'll get back to you. Again, email me, Patrick at the DNVR.com, Suzie at the DNVR.com. This has been great. Rockies have a lot of momentum. We've got a lot of momentum, but you know what they say? Momentum, it's only as good as tomorrow's podcast. So we'll talk to you then.